out. So when Miller came in, sure, it looked really, really tough. But Miller's innings was the worst 100 I have ever seen. And I am not saying that lightly. I'm not just saying that because of recency bias.
Yeah.
It's because he tried, and I've never associated Miller with this sort of nonsense. I've always thought Miller was really, really good, and I've seen him do brilliant things on the cricket field. But yesterday, his team, who are 1 out of 9 in semi-finals, his team were playing in a semi-final. So for those at the back, if you lose the semi-final, you're out. And if you win the semi-final, you're in the final, right? There's 2 outcomes. Nothing else is important. And Miller, for most of his innings, did not try and win that game for South Africa, which is what they needed him to do. He only tried to score 100. And when everybody was standing and applauding, his dressing room, and Geedy with a massive grin on his face, hugging him and all this, him doing celebrations and stuff, hell no. That is deplorable. You're meant to try and win the game for your team, and he didn't. He was pootling around, letting the rate. When he came in, right, they needed less than 10 and over. Not impossible. For someone of his talent, they could have chased those, right? When it was Klassen
or at least have tried.
Klassen went, and Miller came in the 29th over. So Miller had loads and loads of time, and Miller ended up scoring 100. We know how good Miller is, but he did not. The bit that annoyed me the most, there was a bit where they were just scoring 4 and 5 and over. Obviously, Markram got out, but the next over went for 2. The over after that went for 2. If those overs go for 5, which is so achievable on that deck, they're back in it. A couple of overs later, 2 off. Who's bowling here? Ravindra. 2 runs off the over. What are you doing? And occasionally he smacked a 6 off someone like Glenn Phillips just to remind us how easy it is for him when he's set. But when he was set, when he faced 30 balls, they're still pootling along. Nothing happened. And when Rabada came in, I was like, so they're 8 down now. Rabada's at the other end. Rabada he looks like he's good at batting, but his numbers don't back that up. Miller wasn't farming the strike. If anything, Rabada was. And I was like, hang on, you can still win this game. There was a bit where they needed 16 and over for about, 7 overs. And Rabada is taking singles at the end of the over and keeping strike for the next over. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Face 5 balls every over. If you're facing spin, Seth Miller can hit 3 out of 5 for 6 if he needs to. And he basically didn't try and score quickly until the game was totally dead, till they were 5,000 to 1 to qualify for the final. And then he started smoking it everywhere. And at the end, the commentators, the crowd, his teammates were all getting massively excited because the narrative, just like it was when Kohli chased against Pakistan, we all knew what the result of the game was, but it was just whether Kohli would get 100, which was a total certainty, by the way. But this one was just, can he do it? Can he do it? Who cares? Like, if I'm a South Africa fan, I don't care whether he scores 100 or not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I want my team to be in the final.
Yeah.
I don't care whether somebody scores 100 or someone scores 98. It doesn't matter. And the other thing that is completely deplorable about that performance from South Africa is Bavuma, who I love as an ODI cricketer and as a test cricketer. And I always defend him when people slate him for T20s. He shouldn't be playing T20s. It's not his game. He's good at getting 50 in ODIs, in chases like that, to set it up for people like Miller. But yesterday, he took 9 balls to get from 48 to 50. That is a crime, right? 0 off 9 when you're chasing 360 is bad, which is what he was. That is bad, but you can defend that by saying, okay, it was moving around a bit. I was getting used to the pitch. Henry was bowling and he's a throw at the top, whatever, fine. 0 off 9, if you end up getting 50 off 50, is defendable. But 48 to 50 on that pitch, when you're set in 9 balls, is a disgrace. And then he got out immediately after he got 50. He tried to up it and got out straight away. But Miller's innings, loads of people saying, what a brilliant century. There is no such thing as a brilliant century if it gives no chance for your team to win the match. That century gave his team 0 chance.
You could say that about the semis. The ODI World Cup.
I think, it's so frustrating because we know Miller can do it. And Miller just needed to... So what he did is he threw away, admittedly, a very small chance, right? He threw away a very small chance of his team qualifying for the final of this competition in order to get himself 100. And that is completely unacceptable. But the fact that cricket embraces it and cricket says, great knock, mate, well done. It's not Miller's fault they lost that game. Now, there's lots of people to blame for South Africa not chasing those. I think 360 actually was chaseable on that deck because nobody went absolutely bananas for New Zealand. Like Kane and Ravindra got out exactly when he was going to go into turbo mode. He got out for 108 or something. Kane got out for 100. Kane played really well. His strike rate was better than Ravindra's, which is really surprising. But nobody went bananas. Like Mitchell got one away and then got out. Latham inexplicably came in ahead of Phillips and Bracewell. Bracewell didn't really get going. They could have knocked those off if they'd have, like, Bavuma's strike rate was 78, and most of that was because he was trying to score 50 for himself. If his strike rate is 90, which he's more than capable of, if Markram doesn't play a silly shot and just chip one back to the bowler when he's properly set, and Klassen doesn't do something silly, they could have chased those. So it's not Miller's fault that they didn't win that match. Miller scored 100, which in isolation, if you watch the 67 balls that he faced, and then you know that he scored 100 runs, very good innings. But the innings didn't give his team a chance to qualify. So it's not great. Stop talking about it as if it's a brilliant knock. It's the same people think Stokes played brilliant innings in all those finals and semi-finals as think that knock by Miller was great yesterday. Just watch the cricket. He didn't give his team the best chance to win the game.